What's up YouTube, Jeff back again, and today another very exciting video for you guys. I have the Pixel 10 Pro XL in Moonstone here, and yes, I already did kind of a proper unboxing in a short form video. If you guys missed it, I'll drop it below, but I wanted to kind of go through what's in the box, my impressions of the device, the setup, and kind of get some impressions as I do the setup and navigate around. Also do a quick comparison to my Pixel 9 Pro XL from last year, and then also the Galaxy S25 Ultra right here. We can talk a little bit about that as well. So first of all, this is the 512 model. You guys can see I did get the XL here, the 10 Pro XL. I will say that the packaging is a little tough to get off, to shake off this here. I actually ended up tearing it when I was doing my unboxing video because of that. But if you take that off, I also have a few accessories too that I bought from the new first party accessories. This is a gorgeous color, by the way. I was actually a bigger fan of the jade color myself, but this color is really nice. You can see it's kind of like a bluish gray color, which really does look striking in the light. Let me see if I can compare it to the color I had last year. I actually forget what this color was called last year. This one's like a dark kind of green color. You guys can see that, like, basically there's no design differences, just you got a little bit bigger camera module there. But I mean, in terms of the actual profile of the phone and the actual design language, I mean, there's basically no difference in these two devices. One thing I always have to get used to when I use a Pixel phone is you've got the power button there on top of your volume rocker. So very similar to last year's phone, just a little bit larger, you know, pixel camera bar or whatever they call that, which I still think is a nice design language for Google. And, you know, obviously it's something very unique that only they do, and that makes it something that's probably something they should continue doing. Hopefully they don't try to blend into what Apple and Samsung are doing in that regard. In terms of the box, there's really nothing in here. You don't even need a physical SIM tool in the box because this thing uses an eSIM only. They went the iPhone route, so you just get a charging cable, of course, no charger. And there is some paperwork here in the box as well. As you guys can probably see here, we got some paperwork in the box, which is definitely nice. But all recycled materials for the most part, very minimal unboxing experience for sure. There really isn't much to say in terms of the unboxing. Next, I'm gonna walk here through the setup and put my information in. So let's just go through and kind of do the initial setup together until I have to put in all my passwords, see if there's anything interesting. Choose a language. Let's see, choose a region, United States. Set up using another device. So I guess I can use my Galaxy phone. Some people said that they had issues with the phone getting very warm when they set this up. I'm thinking I may set this up with my Pixel 9 Pro XL just to see what happens. And so I guess I'll scan the QR code, walk through this, and I'll report on any issues I have along the way. All right, guys, I went through the setup here on my Pixel 10 Pro XL, and I wanted to run down a couple of things that happened during the setup. The first thing is I got a notice that I could not use the SIM card that was on my Pixel 9 Pro XL because it's a physical SIM, and that it's a Leica Mobile SIM that I would need to contact Leica Mobile. So that's definitely a downside. I already don't like the eSIM only thing, but that means you have to contact the carrier unless you have a certain carrier. Luckily, I have a Google Fi line, and I was able to then activate my eSIM from Google Fi on here because I had it on my Pixel 9a and just move it over directly. Now, if you have Google Fi, it's probably really easy because, of course, Google makes that very easy since they decided to go eSIM only, but not every carrier is going to necessarily be that way. There is a nice onboarding flow where they can copy all your Google's accounts. Google changed some things about that. It looks very nice. It took about 8 minutes to transfer all the basics, although you can see my apps are still transferring over. That's why some of these are grayed out. And my setup from my Pixel 9 Pro XL. But I will tell you, I've heard this from quite a few other people, it does get very warm. This thing is very, very warm right now. Like, it's hot enough that I don't necessarily want to touch it, even though I am because I'm making this video. But it is definitely very warm in the hand. So I don't know what I should say. Should you set your Pixel 9 Pro, 10 Pro, 10 Pro XL up from scratch instead of transferring over from another phone. Maybe, I don't know, but it definitely gets very warm to my touch. Otherwise, I mean, in terms of the build, I mean, I like it. I think they stuck with the build quality for a good reason. I think there's, no reason to change what they were doing in terms of the build. But I am concerned about the Tensor G5, like I said, and those thermals, the fact that it just gets hot from setting up the phone from my old Pixel. That's very concerning. Obviously, we know that it's not the gaming and multitasking powerhouse of the Galaxy S25 Ultra because of the Snapdragon processor, but getting warm just from the setup doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me. Here's a comparison just side by side of these two devices. If you guys want to take a look at those, you can see S25 Ultra versus the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Like I said, I like Google's design language, and actually, it might actually look better than Samsung's in a lot of ways. I also got this, which is the, what do they call this? The Pixel Snap Ring Stand. So of course this thing has the Qi 2 built into the back, which Samsung is supposed to do next year with the Galaxy S26 Ultra. It is a little hard to get this ring stand, like if you want to move it into the correct position, but it does, I say it stays on there really well, and then of course it doesn't. It does stay on there pretty well when you actually have it tilted. And I don't know if it's the best for landscape. It probably is better for portrait. I think that's the main intended use. And in portrait it works pretty well, but I will say that in the times that I've tried to pop it on, pop it off, it can be a little bit difficult to get on or off. So that might be something to keep in mind. Maybe over time, this will kind of loosen up a little bit, but it does feel like it's on there once you get it on there. And if it's on the stand and like sitting up, in portrait, it seems to be fine. I mean, this is kind of expensive. I forgot how much this was, but I think it's like $30 or something, which seems kind of expensive for that particular accessory. I got this is the official Google case. This is the Pixel case with Pixel Snap. So this one has the built-in MagSafe, whatever they're calling it, Pixel Snap. So they don't use MagSafe, obviously, because that's Apple's thing. But this is basically the same case as last year. It's got a soft kind of interior lining. It's the same first-party case. The only difference is now it'll also work with all your Pixel Snap accessories. So if you want to use your stand or you want to use your wireless charger, then you'll be able to do that very easily. And then I don't remember why I got this color of the Pixel Snap wireless charger, but I'll test this and kind of see how it does, but it's just a wireless charger. This is the color that I think maybe everything else was sold out. So I don't remember, maybe they don't have Moonstone, but they probably do. Maybe I just bought it and I wanted to get it on launch day, and they may not have had the Moonstone one available for launch day delivery. But honestly, I mean, it's a wireless charger, but it looks very similar to the Apple MagSafe wireless charging puck. But I mean, how much different can you really make a wireless charger? It does what it does. So overall, I mean, I'm going to make a full review of this, but I'm going to start doing more Android reviews on my personal channel. Of course, go check out the Sammy Guru channel because we're going to be doing all Samsung over there and nothing else if that's what you want to see. But I'm going to review this, do some comparisons to Samsung, mainly looking at the camera and the heating from this Tensor, because this doesn't instill, like I said, confidence given that it's so hot right now just from the setup. But everything else, there's not like a lot of massive upgrades in terms of hardware. There's a lot of software stuff. The Qi 2, which I've already kind of, went through the overview of that in this video, aside from, the new processors, really the big thing. The other features, a lot of the camera stuff is software related, and then a lot of stuff that's built into the Pixel UI, which of course always takes a little getting used to for me because it's not one UI. But anyway, excited to get into this. Let me know what you guys think. Are you a Pixel fan? Have you ever tried a Pixel instead of Samsung? If you are a Pixel user, let me know, what do you love about your Pixel? What should I try that maybe I haven't, because I haven't used Pixel as my daily driver in a while. I'm going to try it for a little while and see how I can do. Anyway, appreciate you guys checking out the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.